Tyler's hands trembled as he gripped the edges of the hospital bed. The sharp, sterile scent of disinfectant burned his nose, but it was the rhythmic beeping of the heart monitor that clawed at his sanity. "Kai," Tyler whispered, his voice cracking under the weight of emotion. "You have to wake up." Kai lay motionless, his face pale against the stark white pillow. Bruises marred his skin, a harsh reminder of the accident that had turned their world upside down. Tyler could barely hold himself together as he stared at the person who had always been his rock, now so vulnerable, so fragile. The memory of the crash replayed in his mind like a nightmare on repeat. The screeching tires, the shattering glass, the moment of impact that had stolen the breath from his lungs. "You'll make it," Tyler choked out, more to himself than to Kai. "You have to. You promised me we'd get through this together." The door creaked open, and a nurse stepped in, her expression sympathetic but detached. "Visiting hours are almost over," she said gently. Tyler shook his head, refusing to move. "I'm not leaving him." The nurse hesitated but nodded, understanding the desperation in his tone. "I'll give you a few more minutes." As the door closed, Tyler reached for Kai's hand, his fingers trembling as they wrapped around the unresponsive one lying on the bed. "You always said I was the strong one," Tyler murmured, tears slipping down his cheeks. "But I don't feel strong right now. I feel like I'm breaking, Kai." The heart monitor continued its steady rhythm, each beat a cruel reminder of the fragility of life. "I never told you this," Tyler continued, his voice barely above a whisper. "But you're the reason I became a nurse. You're the reason I believed I could do something meaningful with my life. You saw something in me when I didn't see it in myself. And now," his voice cracked, and he pressed his forehead against Kai's hand. "Now I need you to fight, Kai. I need you to come back to me." As the minutes ticked by, the weight of the silence grew unbearable. Tyler felt like he was drowning, lost in a sea of helplessness. But then, just as he was about to break completely, he felt it. A faint squeeze. His breath hitched, his head snapping up. "Kai," he whispered, hope surging through him like a bolt of electricity. Kai's eyelids fluttered, and for a brief moment, Tyler saw the faintest flicker of life in his eyes. "Tyler," Kai rasped, his voice barely audible. Tyler's heart leapt, tears streaming down his face as he gripped Kai's hand tighter. "I'm here, Kai. I'm right here." Kai's lips twitched into a weak smile. "Told you. I'd never leave you." The tears came harder now, a mixture of relief and overwhelming love. Tyler leaned down, pressing a kiss to Kai's forehead. "You scared the hell out of me," he said, his voice trembling with emotion. Kai's eyes closed again, his breathing steady but weak. Tyler knew the road ahead would be long and challenging, but in that moment, one thing was clear: they would face it together. And as Tyler sat there, holding Kai's hand, he made a silent vow. No matter what it took, he would do everything in his power to make sure they got there happy. Kai and Tyler's lives are forever changed when their parents, Stella Johnson and Lucas Evans, marry. Kai, already in middle school, initially resents the disruption, while Tyler, still in elementary school, sees Kai as the older brother he's always wanted. Despite their differences, they quickly bond over shared hobbies, basketball, video games, and late-night snacks. Kai becomes Tyler's protector, helping him with school bullies and cheering him on at soccer games. "Thanks, Kai," Tyler says one day after Kai defends him from an older boy. Kai ruffles Tyler's hair. That's what brothers are for. As the years pass, their bond grows stronger. They become inseparable, with Tyler constantly looking up to Kai. But for Kai, something begins to shift. By the time they enter high school, his feelings for Tyler are no longer just brotherly. He hides his confusion, burying himself in sports and academics to distract from the growing ache in his heart. One day, their parents announce a family vacation, and Kai watches Tyler laugh under the sun at the beach. His heart skips a beat, and he looks away, guilt gnawing at him. This isn't right, he tells himself. Tyler, oblivious to Kai's inner turmoil, continues to follow him everywhere, idolizing him. But for Kai, every moment with Tyler becomes a painful reminder of the feelings he can never act on. By Kai's freshman year of high school, the bond between him and Tyler starts to strain. Kai, now a confident and charismatic teenager, quickly becomes popular, while Tyler, a year behind, remains in awe of his older brother. "You're amazing, Kai," Tyler says after watching him score the winning basket at a game. Kai smiles but feels a pang of guilt. "Thanks, Ty." As Tyler starts making friends and growing more independent, Kai feels a mix of pride and jealousy. When Tyler goes to the school dance with a girl, Kai finds himself avoiding him for days. Tyler notices the distance and confronts Kai. "Why are you ignoring me?" "I'm not," Kai says, but his tone is cold. Tyler feels hurt but doesn't push further. "Fine. Whatever." Kai spends more time alone, struggling with his emotions. He starts pulling away from everyone, including Tyler. One evening, Tyler asks, "Do you hate me or something?" Kai freezes, his heart sinking. "Of course not, Tyler. Don't be stupid." "Then why are you acting like this?" Tyler asks, tears welling in his eyes. Kai doesn't respond, walking away instead. "I can't do this," he mutters under his breath. From that moment on, their once unbreakable bond begins to unravel. By the time Kai is a senior, the distance between him and Tyler is palpable. Kai receives a scholarship to study abroad, and he sees it as his escape from the feelings he's desperately trying to suppress. He doesn't tell anyone about the scholarship until the last minute. When Tyler finds out, he's devastated. "You're leaving? Without even telling me?" Tyler asks, his voice trembling. "It's better this way," Kai says, avoiding Tyler's gaze. "No, it's not." Tyler pleads. "You're my brother, Kai. How can you just leave like this?" Kai feels his resolve breaking but forces himself to stay firm. "I'm sorry, Tyler. I have to go." The night before his flight, Kai packs his bags quietly, unable to face his family. Tyler knocks on his door, but Kai doesn't answer. "Kai, please don't go," Tyler whispers through the door. Kai bites his lip, tears streaming down his face, but he stays silent. The next morning, Kai leaves without saying goodbye, leaving Tyler heartbroken. Tyler works tirelessly in his final year of high school, determined to follow Kai to the same university. When he's accepted, he feels a mix of triumph and dread. "I'll make him talk to me," Tyler vows. Arriving at the university, Tyler finds Kai living like a shadow of his former self. Kai is shocked to see Tyler. "What are you doing here?" he asks, his voice cold. "I got into the same school," Tyler says with a forced smile. "We're even in the same field." Kai feels panic rising. "This was supposed to be my escape." Despite the tension, Tyler insists they live together. Kai reluctantly agrees but keeps his distance. One night, Kai comes home drunk and breaks down in front of Tyler. "Why did you follow me here?" Kai cries, tears streaming down his face. "You're making this harder for me." "Kai," Tyler says, stunned by the outburst. "I've loved you for years, Tyler." Kai confesses, his voice breaking. "You're all I ever wanted, but I can't have you." Before Tyler can respond, Kai kisses him, then collapses onto the couch and falls asleep. The next morning, Tyler sits at the kitchen table, replaying Kai's drunken confession. Kai wakes up with a pounding headache, groaning as the events of the night before flood back. He avoids Tyler, ashamed of what he said and did. "Kai, we need to talk," Tyler says, blocking his way. "There's nothing to talk about," Kai mutters, trying to walk past him. "You kissed me, Kai." "You told me you loved me," Tyler says firmly. Kai freezes, his face pale. "I was drunk. It didn't mean anything." Tyler feels a sharp pang of hurt. "Don't lie to me, Kai." Kai looks away. "Even if it's true, it doesn't matter." "Forget it, Tyler. Forget I ever said anything." As Kai leaves, Tyler feels a mix of confusion, anger, and something else he can't quite place. Despite Kai's words, Tyler can't forget the raw emotion in his voice when he confessed. Over the next few days, Tyler tries to get Kai to open up, but Kai avoids him at every turn. Kai throws himself into his studies, hoping to bury his feelings once and for all. But no matter how hard he tries, he can't stop thinking about Tyler, and Tyler can't stop thinking about him. Kai wakes up on the couch, his head pounding from the alcohol. The memories of the night before flood back, and he freezes, horrified by his actions. "I kissed him," he whispers to himself, running a hand through his hair. "What have I done?" Tyler sits at the kitchen table, staring blankly at his untouched coffee, replaying Kai's confession in his mind. Kai tries to sneak out of the apartment, but Tyler hears him. "Kai," Tyler says softly, his voice breaking the silence. Kai doesn't turn around. "I don't want to talk about it." "We have to," Tyler insists, standing up. "You can't just pretend it didn't happen." Kai's fists clench. "Yes, I can." "Forget it, Tyler." "I was drunk." Tyler feels a pang of hurt. "So, it meant nothing to you?" Kai finally turns, his eyes filled with pain. "It doesn't matter what it meant. I shouldn't have done it." Before Tyler can respond, Kai grabs his bag and leaves, slamming the door behind him. The apartment feels emptier than ever, and Tyler sinks back into his chair, fighting tears. Later that day, Kai avoids all his classes, wandering aimlessly around campus. He thinks about how much easier life was before his feelings for Tyler took over. Back at the apartment, Tyler tries to focus on studying but can't get Kai's words out of his head. "Why can't he just talk to me?" Tyler whispers to himself, feeling helpless. That night, Kai doesn't come home, leaving Tyler alone with his thoughts. As the hours drag on, Tyler lies awake, wondering if their relationship can ever be repaired. Kai begins spending as little time as possible at the apartment, avoiding Tyler at every turn. He throws himself into his studies, staying late at the library or hanging out with classmates to keep his mind off Tyler. Tyler notices Kai's absence and feels the weight of his loneliness growing heavier. One evening, Tyler cooks dinner and waits for Kai, but Kai doesn't come home. The food sits untouched on the table, and Tyler quietly clears it away, tears welling in his eyes. "Why do you keep running from me, Kai?" Tyler whispers into the empty room. Kai, meanwhile, sits at a bar, nursing a drink and wishing he could erase his feelings. He remembers their childhood, the laughter, the shared secrets, and the unshakable bond they once had. Why did it have to change? Kai murmurs, staring at his reflection in the glass. At the apartment, Tyler writes a letter to Kai, pouring out his confusion and pain. He leaves it on the kitchen counter, hoping Kai will read it when he comes home. But when Kai finally returns late that night, he sees the letter and hesitates. He picks it up but doesn't open it, his hands trembling. Instead, he shoves it into a drawer and goes to bed, guilt gnawing at him. The next morning, Tyler finds the letter untouched, and his heart sinks. He decides to confront Kai directly, but when Kai wakes up, he brushes past Tyler without a word. "You can't keep doing this," Tyler yells, desperation in his voice. Kai freezes but doesn't turn around. "I'm sorry, Tyler. This is just how it has to be." As Kai leaves again, Tyler feels his hope slipping away, unsure of how much more he can take. Tyler tries to give Kai space, but the distance between them only grows. He starts spending more time with his classmates, hoping to distract himself from the pain. One of his classmates, Megan, notices his mood and offers a listening ear. "You don't have to tell me everything, but I can see you're hurting," she says kindly. Tyler smiles weakly. "Thanks, but it's complicated." Meanwhile, Kai spirals deeper into self-isolation, haunted by his feelings and the damage he's caused. He starts skipping meals and losing sleep, his guilt and longing eating away at him. One night, Kai returns home to find Tyler sitting on the couch, staring at an old photo of them. "Do you remember this?" Tyler asks, holding up the picture of them at the beach as kids. Kai's chest tightens. "Yeah, I remember. We were so happy back then," Tyler says quietly. "What happened to us, Kai?" Kai doesn't answer, sitting down on the other side of the couch. For a moment, the silence between them feels heavy but not hostile. "I miss you," Tyler says, his voice barely above a whisper. Kai looks at him, his heart aching. "I miss you too, Tyler." It's the first honest thing Kai has said in weeks, and it feels like a small crack in the wall he's built. But before Tyler can say more, Kai stands up. "I can't do this," he says, walking to his room. Tyler watches him go, tears streaming down his face. "Why do you keep running?" Tyler finds himself flipping through an old scrapbook filled with photos of him and Kai. There's a picture of them laughing in the park, one of Kai carrying Tyler after he sprained his ankle, and another of them at a school carnival. He lingers on a picture of Kai smiling at him, a smile full of warmth and affection that feels like a distant memory now. Tears blur Tyler's vision as he realizes how much he's lost. "What happened to us, Kai?" Kai, in his room, stares at the same photo he's kept tucked away in his drawer. He remembers the day it was taken and how happy he felt just being by Tyler's side. But the memory only deepens his pain. "You deserve better than this," Kai whispers to himself. At school, Tyler grows closer to Megan, who starts to notice the strain he's under. "Is it about your brother?" she asks gently. Tyler hesitates, then nods. "We used to be so close, but now it feels like he doesn't want me in his life." Megan frowns. Maybe he's dealing with something he doesn't know how to talk about. Tyler wonders if that's true, but the uncertainty eats away at him. That evening, he tries again to talk to Kai. "Please, Kai. Just tell me what's wrong." Kai looks at him, his eyes full of guilt and longing. "You wouldn't understand, Tyler." "Then help me understand." Tyler pleads, his voice breaking. Kai shakes his head. "I can't." As Kai walks away, Tyler feels his heart shatter all over again. Weeks pass, and the distance between them grows unbearable. Tyler starts spending more time away from the apartment, unable to handle the emptiness. Kai notices but doesn't say anything, though the silence in the apartment gnaws at him. One evening, Tyler comes home late to find Kai sitting in the dark, staring at the photo in his hand. "You're never home anymore," Kai says quietly, not looking up. Tyler freezes, startled by Kai's sudden vulnerability. "You've been avoiding me for months, Kai. What do you expect?" Kai's grip on the photo tightens. "Maybe it's better this way." "Better for who?" Tyler snaps, anger and hurt bubbling to the surface. Kai finally looks at him, his eyes filled with pain. "For you, Tyler. Don't you get it? I'm trying to protect you." "From what?" Tyler yells. "You're not protecting me, you're pushing me away." Kai stands, his voice trembling. "From me? I'm the problem, Tyler." Tyler stares at him, his breath caught in his throat. "Kai, what are you saying?" Kai hesitates, his heart pounding. "I'm saying I can't be the brother you need. Not when I feel like this." Before Tyler can respond, Kai storms out of the apartment, leaving Tyler alone and reeling. Kai wanders the city, trying to calm the storm raging inside him. He finds himself at the park where they used to play basketball, memories of their childhood flooding back. Sitting on the swings, he feels the weight of his love for Tyler crushing him. "I can't keep doing this," he whispers. Back at the apartment, Tyler paces anxiously, replaying Kai's words over and over. What did he mean by "feel like this"? Tyler asks himself, his heart racing. Megan calls to check on him, sensing his distress. "Do you want to talk about it?" she asks. Tyler shakes his head. "I don't even know where to start." When Kai finally returns home late at night, he's exhausted and emotionally drained. Tyler is waiting for him, his expression unreadable. "Why are you still up?" Kai asks, avoiding his gaze. "Because I'm tired of pretending everything's okay," Tyler says firmly. Kai sighs, rubbing the back of his neck. "Tyler, please." "No," Tyler interrupts. "You don't get to walk away this time." Kai looks at him, his walls starting to crumble. "I don't know how to do this, Tyler." "Then let me help you," Tyler says softly, stepping closer. Kai's breath hitches, but he turns away. "You can't fix this." Tyler watches him retreat to his room, the door shutting with a finality that feels like a knife to his heart. After Kai's sudden disappearance that morning, Tyler spends the entire day in a haze. His thoughts swirl with confusion, fear, and a deep sense of loss. Kai, to demand answers, but the overwhelming silence between them makes him second-guess everything. Every time he picks up his phone, his heart races, hoping for a message that never comes. The silence feels like a weight he can't escape. That night, after yet another day without Kai, Tyler finds himself at the edge of the campus, staring out at the quiet city. He thinks about the kiss, the rawness of it, how it changed everything between them. There's no going back. There never was. But just as he's about to turn back to his dorm, his phone buzzes. It's a text from Kai. Tyler's hands shake as he opens it. "I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you. I need space. Please don't come looking for me." Tyler feels his breath catch in his throat. He knows that Kai needs space, but the coldness of the message cuts deeper than anything. He wants to scream, to call him out, but instead, he just stares at the screen, feeling the weight of everything between them. Days pass without a word from Kai. Tyler feels himself slipping deeper into the void. Every time he steps into their shared apartment, the emptiness of Kai's absence hits him like a physical blow. The apartment feels colder now, and no matter how many times Tyler tells himself that everything will be okay, the reality is too harsh. He continues to attend classes, but his mind is always elsewhere. He keeps his distance from everyone, knowing that they would never understand the agony he's in. He barely notices when his friends try to reach out, their concerned expressions falling on deaf ears. All he can think about is Kai. Why did he run? Why can't he stay? Tyler's heart aches at the thought of Kai, wondering if he'll ever hear from him again. The weight of the love they shared, the intensity of their connection, all hangs in the air, unresolved. He begins to doubt everything. A week passes. Tyler stops checking his phone, stops looking for any sign that Kai will reach out. He tells himself that he's done, that he should move on, but every thought he has revolves around Kai. It's like a constant pull, an invisible force that keeps him tethered to the very person who's pulling away. He spends another night alone in the apartment, eyes staring blankly at the ceiling, the quiet feeling suffocating. But this time, something shifts inside him. Maybe it's the pain that finally overwhelms him, or the quiet realization that he can't keep running from the truth. Tyler stands up, the determination in his chest slowly building. He knows what he has to do. He won't let Kai push him away. He won't let fear ruin everything they have. "I'm not giving up," Tyler whispers to himself, his voice steady despite the storm inside him. Tyler makes the decision. The next day, he books a flight to the city where Kai went after leaving their shared apartment. It's impulsive, reckless even, but Tyler doesn't care. He has to see Kai. He needs answers. He needs to hear it from him, to know why Kai is pushing him away when all he's ever wanted is to be with him. The flight feels like an eternity. The pressure in his chest is suffocating as the plane takes off. His mind races with questions, but no answers come. What if Kai doesn't want to see him? What if he's already moved on? The thought of it is unbearable. Tyler clutches the armrest, the unease in his stomach making his heart race. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, the plane lands. Tyler takes a deep breath before exiting the terminal, his heart pounding with both dread and hope. He's never felt more unsure of anything in his life. Tyler stands in front of the apartment complex where Kai is staying, looking up at the windows with a mixture of uncertainty and resolve. He doesn't know what to expect when he knocks on the door, but he knows he can't walk away again. Not this time. He presses the doorbell, and the minutes stretch into what feels like hours. Finally, the door opens, and there stands Kai, looking tired and distant. His face is a mix of shock and disbelief. "Kai," Tyler says, his voice trembling with both hope and fear. Kai stares at him, his eyes searching Tyler's face. "Tyler, what are you doing here?" "I came to find you," Tyler answers, taking a step forward. "I came to talk. We need to talk about what happened." Kai steps back, his hand hovering near the door as though he wants to close it again. "I don't think there's anything left to talk about." Tyler's heart sinks at the words. But he doesn't back down. We've been through too much for this to end like this. Please, Kai. Don't push me away. Kai looks at him, his eyes filled with conflict, pain, and something else that Tyler can't quite place. For a long moment, there's only silence. I never wanted to hurt you, Kai finally says, his voice broken. But I was so afraid of what I felt. So afraid of losing you. Tyler steps closer, his hand trembling as he reaches for Kai. You never had to lose me, Kai. I'm right here. The tears that Kai had been holding back finally fall as he steps forward and pulls Tyler into a tight embrace. I'm sorry, Kai whispers, his voice thick with emotion. I'm so sorry. Tyler holds him close, feeling a weight lift off his shoulders as he whispers back, you don't need to apologize. I'm here, Kai. I always will be. The following weeks are a time of healing. Tyler and Kai spend hours talking about everything, the past, their feelings, the fears that kept them apart. Tyler is patient, never pushing Kai too hard, allowing him to process his emotions at his own pace. Though the road to recovery isn't easy, they take it step by step. They find comfort in each other's presence, in the understanding that they are no longer alone in this struggle. Kai begins to let go of his fear, allowing himself to love Tyler openly, without reservation. He no longer feels the need to hide, to run away from what they have. Slowly but surely, their bond begins to rebuild itself, stronger than before. One evening, as they sit together on the balcony, watching the sunset, Tyler speaks up. I still don't understand why you pushed me away for so long, Tyler says, his voice soft but honest. Why did you think I wouldn't love you back? Kai sighs, his eyes lost in the fading light. I was afraid, Tyler. Afraid that loving you would ruin everything. I thought it would make you see me differently. Tyler shakes his head. I could never see you differently. You're my brother. You're the person I've always loved, no matter what. Kai turns to face him, his eyes filled with something deep and raw. I never wanted to hurt you. I just didn't know how to handle what I was feeling. Tyler reaches out, taking Kai's hand in his. We don't have to have all the answers right now. We just need to be together. That's all that matters. Kai squeezes his hand, the weight of his words finally sinking in. I love you, Tyler. And I'll never let go again. In the weeks that follow, Kai and Tyler slowly start to rebuild their lives together. They continue to focus on their studies, but this time, they support each other every step of the way. The tension that once defined their relationship fades as they move forward, hand in hand. While the past will always be a part of them, they are no longer defined by it. They've learned to embrace their love, and with it, the possibility of a future filled with hope and happiness. Tyler looks at Kai one last time, knowing that they've both come a long way. Their love, though complicated, is something beautiful and undeniable. I think we're going to be okay, Tyler says, his voice steady, full of conviction. We're going to be more than okay. Kai smiles, his heart full for the first time in years. Yeah, he replies, his voice soft but full of certainty. We're going to be perfect. The day of graduation has finally arrived, and Tyler and Kai are standing in the midst of a whirlwind. The excitement is palpable, but it's also laced with the reality of what they've accomplished. They've survived countless exams, lectures, and sleepless nights. But now, with the ceremony beginning, they can hardly grasp how far they've come. The campus is abuzz with parents, professors, and fellow students, all dressed in their caps and gowns. Tyler and Kai stand in line, adjusting their robes, their nerves blending with the joy of the day. Hey, Kai, do you think they'll remember us after this? Tyler asks, glancing at his best friend as he fidgets with his cap. Kai laughs softly, glancing back at him with a smirk. Oh, I'm sure they'll remember the guy who cracked jokes during the final exam and the other who spilled coffee on the dean's shoes. Quite the legacy, don't you think? Tyler grins sheepishly. What can I say? The dean shouldn't have stood that close to my coffee. Gravity's a powerful thing, my friend, Kai teases, elbowing him lightly. They share a laugh, the nervous tension in the air dissolving for a moment as they both settle into the atmosphere. There's an unspoken comfort between them that transcends words. As the ceremony begins, the world feels like it's slowing down, and every step Tyler and Kai take toward the stage feels like a monumental one. Their names are called in unison, and as they walk forward to receive their diplomas, they bump into each other, their movements playful but full of love. "Hey! You tripped me," Kai says under his breath, trying to hide the grin spreading across his face. Tyler looks at him with mock indignation. "Tradition, right?" The crowd laughs, the dean even shaking his head with a smile, amused by their antics. But in that moment, they both feel the weight of the years behind them, years of challenges, growth, and endless support from each other. The moment is perfect. They've come this far, and together, they will face whatever comes next. After the ceremony, they find a quiet corner away from the crowd. Tyler pulls Kai into a tight embrace, his hands gripping the back of his gown. "We did it," he whispers, voice thick with emotion. Kai chuckles softly, pulling away just enough to look him in the eye. "Yeah, we did. Can't believe we made it through without killing each other." Tyler's grin widens, and in that moment, everything feels right. Can't imagine doing it with anyone else. Their lips meet in a tender kiss, deep and full of unspoken promises. As they pull away, they both know that whatever happens in the future, they've already created something beautiful. After months of anticipation, their first day at the hospital arrives. The familiar thrill of starting something new is mixed with nerves, and the weight of the responsibilities ahead is suddenly very real. Tyler and Kai walk through the hospital hallways together, both of them trying to mask their jitters with forced smiles. "I can't believe it's our first day," Tyler says, adjusting his lab coat nervously. "Ready to save lives?" Kai looks at him, his voice a little more hesitant. "I'm more likely to faint than save anyone right now," he jokes, gripping the elevator door like it's his lifeline. Tyler chuckles, trying to ease the tension. "You'll be fine. Just, don't bring out the butter knife again, okay?" Kai shoots him a glare, but the smile that follows is unmistakable. "That was one time, Tyler. And I told you to never bring it up again." "I only agreed because you asked so nicely," Tyler teases, nudging him with his elbow. They laugh together, the camaraderie they share acting as a steady anchor amidst the nervous energy buzzing around them. When they finally reach their respective departments, the whirlwind of their first day hits them hard. Tyler's working in the emergency room, and Kai is in the ICU. They barely have time to check in on each other, but in the few stolen moments between rounds, their eyes meet across the room. A brief but meaningful look passes between them, a silent promise to be there for each other no matter how overwhelming the day might feel. By the time they meet up after work, exhaustion is evident on their faces, but so is the pride of making it through. They stand in the hospital parking lot, sharing a quiet moment together as the world around them fades. "So," Kai begins, tossing his keys into his bag with a sigh, "you think we'll survive this week without messing up?" Tyler grins, trying to mask the fatigue with his usual playful energy. "Sure. As long as you don't mix up the meds again, we'll be just fine." Kai shakes his head, chuckling softly. "I won't let you forget about that, will I?" "Not in a million years," Tyler teases, nudging him lightly. "But you'll be okay. We've got this. Let's get through the week, then crash for the weekend. Sound good?" Kai looks at him, a quiet affection in his gaze. "Yeah, sounds perfect." After their grueling first week, Tyler and Kai feel the weight of their new responsibilities. They are both drained, but know they need a break. Tyler suggests a spontaneous weekend getaway, and before Kai knows it, they are on the road to a quiet beach town. The drive is a welcome escape from the chaos of the hospital, and the air is filled with laughter and light-hearted conversation. The further they get from the city, the more relaxed they feel. When they arrive at the beach, they can't wait to feel the sand beneath their feet and the ocean breeze on their faces. Tyler races into the water first, his carefree laughter echoing as he splashes Kai. "I swear you're like a kid every time we come to the beach," Kai says, laughing as he dodges the water. Tyler grins, shaking his head. "Hey, I've got to keep you on your toes. Someone has to stop you from acting like a grown-up." They spend the rest of the day lounging on the beach, talking about everything and nothing, completely at peace with each other. It's one of the rare moments in their lives where there's no stress, no responsibilities, just the ocean, the sand, and each other. Later, as the sun sets, Tyler pulls Kai close, holding him as they watch the sky turn shades of pink and orange. "I needed this," Tyler says softly. "To just be with you." Kai looks up at him, his hand gently tracing the line of Tyler's jaw. "Me too. I forget sometimes how much I need moments like this, just the two of us, no pressure." The warmth of their connection feels like it could last forever, and for the first time in a long while, everything feels like it's exactly where it should be. Months pass, and the routine of work has settled into a rhythm. Tyler and Kai's bond continues to deepen, and with each passing day, Kai knows that it's time for the next step. He wants to make their love official, to take the leap. The beach, the place where everything began, feels like the perfect spot to ask Tyler to be with him forever. They return to the beach, and as the sun sets on the horizon, Kai takes Tyler's hand, guiding him toward the water. The waves crash softly against the shore, and there's a quietness in the air that feels right. "Do you remember when you asked me to marry you?" Kai asks, his voice low but steady, his heart racing with anticipation. Tyler laughs, a playful glint in his eyes. "Yeah, you were so shocked. I had to pull it off, you know?" Kai smiles, a warmth spreading through him. "Guess it's my turn now." Tyler stops, looking at Kai in confusion as he reaches into his pocket. When Kai pulls out a small ring box, Tyler's eyes widen. "Wait, you?" Kai kneels in front of him, the ocean waves crashing in the background. "Yes." "Will you marry me, Tyler? For real this time?" Tyler's breath catches in his throat. The world feels like it slows down. "Are you serious?" "I've never been more serious," Kai says, his voice full of emotion. "I love you, Tyler. You're my everything. So, will you marry me?" Tears well up in Tyler's eyes as he nods enthusiastically. "Yes. Yes, of course." They embrace, and the kiss that follows is deep, full of love and promise. The sound of the waves surrounds them, as if the world itself is celebrating their commitment. In that moment, everything feels perfect. The wedding planning begins with excitement and chaos. Tyler and Kai dive into the details, balancing their work schedules and their dreams for the future. They discuss everything from the venue to the cake, each decision a step closer to the life they've always wanted. "What do you think about a rustic theme?" Tyler asks one evening, flipping through wedding magazines. Kai looks at him with a raised eyebrow. "Rustic? I guess, but no burlap." "That's a deal breaker," he says with a playful grin. Tyler laughs. "No burlap, I promise." "What about a more modern vibe, then?" "Modern sounds good," Kai replies thoughtfully, flipping through another magazine. "But let's avoid anything that feels too sterile. I'm not marrying a ghost." Tyler chuckles. "Agreed. Let's keep it warm, with lots of personal touches. Something that reflects us, you know?" They spend hours brainstorming and making lists, some practical, others whimsical. They argue over color schemes, agree on the dress code, and laugh over how many ridiculous Pinterest boards they've created in the process. Each conversation, each decision brings them closer, not just to the wedding but to the life they are about to build together. Late one night, after a long day of planning, they sit on the couch, exhausted but content. The apartment is quiet, save for the soft hum of the city outside their window. Tyler leans against Kai, his head resting on his shoulder. "I can't believe this is happening. That we're actually getting married." Kai pulls him closer, his arms wrapping around Tyler as he inhales the familiar scent of his hair. "Yeah, it's crazy, right? But it feels right. It feels like exactly what we're supposed to do." Tyler smiles, looking up at him. "I think we've got this." Kai brushes a strand of hair from Tyler's forehead. "Yeah. We've been through everything together. And this is just the next chapter." Their eyes lock, and in that moment, the future doesn't feel so daunting anymore. They know they are ready for whatever comes their way. The wedding planning continues to consume their days, but every night, when the chaos of the day finally settles, Tyler and Kai find their way back to each other. Sometimes it's just the two of them, sitting in silence, savoring the comfort of shared space. Other times, it's something more, something deeper, more intimate. One night, after a particularly long day of meeting with vendors and finalizing details, they are sitting on the couch, their bodies close, but the distance between them growing as the exhaustion takes over. Tyler looks at Kai, his gaze soft but full of longing. "You're still the most beautiful person I know, even after all this chaos." Kai smiles, but it's the kind of smile that says more than just words. "You know, I think you might be biased." Tyler laughs quietly, reaching for Kai's hand. "Maybe. But I don't think I'd ever be this calm if I didn't have you beside me." Kai looks down at their intertwined fingers, his heart swelling. Slowly, he leans in and presses a gentle kiss to Tyler's lips. It's not hurried or desperate, it's slow, tender, full of all the unsaid things that have built up between them over the years. The kiss deepens, soft but full of heat. Tyler pulls him closer, his hands threading through Kai's hair. The moment is electric, and the intensity between them is undeniable. They break apart only to breathe, foreheads resting against each other. "I need you," Tyler murmurs, his voice thick with emotion. Kai's heart beats faster, the weight of the moment crushing over him. "I need you too." Without another word, they move together, their bodies drawing closer as if they've always been meant to be this way. The night stretches on in an intimate dance, touches that speak volumes, whispers of affection, and moments of vulnerability. As they come together, it's not just physical, it's the deep connection that's always existed between them, but now it's all-encompassing. Every kiss, every touch, is an affirmation of the love they share and the life they are about to begin. When it's over, they lie together in silence, their hearts beating in sync. Kai rests his head on Tyler's chest, and Tyler wraps his arms around him, their bodies tangled together, exhausted but content. "We're going to be okay, aren't we?" Kai asks, his voice barely above a whisper. Tyler kisses the top of his head. "Better than okay. We're going to be perfect." The wedding day continues to unfold in a whirlwind of emotions and beautiful moments, but as the night wears on, the guests begin to dwindle, and the celebration slows. Tyler and Kai find themselves alone in the quiet of their room, the soft sound of their breathing filling the space. The honeymoon will come soon, but tonight is for them. Tyler closes the door behind them, his hand still on the knob. He turns, meeting Kai's gaze. There's something different in the air tonight, a tenderness, an electricity that has been there all along but now feels more palpable. Kai takes a step toward him, his eyes dark with desire. He reaches up to cup Tyler's face, his thumb brushing across his lips. "Tonight feels like the start of something new," he says, his voice low and filled with emotion. Tyler nods, stepping closer until their bodies are just inches apart. "Yeah," he breathes out, his hands moving to Kai's waist. "It's more than just a wedding. It's us, starting everything. Together." Kai's lips find his again, and this time, there's no holding back. Their kiss is full of everything they've ever felt: love, desire, tenderness, and trust. Their clothes come off in a flurry of hurried, desperate hands, but it's the connection that matters most. As their bodies intertwine, it's not just about passion, it's about marking this moment. Their love, their union, is not only physical but deeply emotional. With every touch, every kiss, they reaffirm that they are everything to each other. The world outside the room disappears, and all that's left is the space between them, where their love exists, strong, unwavering. Tyler's hands trace the contours of Kai's body, feeling the familiar warmth of skin against his. Kai groans softly as Tyler's lips trail down his neck, leaving a trail of fire in their wake. It's slow and intimate, the rhythm of their movements a silent conversation of affection. When they finally come together, it's with a mixture of joy, love, and overwhelming gratitude for the journey they've shared. There are no words as they move together, only the sound of their breathing, the soft brush of skin against skin, and the occasional whispered vow of love. In the quiet aftermath, they lie together, tangled in the sheets, their bodies wrapped in each other's warmth. The world feels right, their connection deeper than ever. "I love you," Tyler whispers, his voice full of conviction. Kai smiles, his hand resting gently on Tyler's chest. I love you too. Always. As they drift off to sleep, their hearts full, it's clear that this is just the beginning of their forever.